Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Joan. Welcome to the show, whether you're watching our podcast live, and well, it's a vodcast right now, or listening to the podcast, or watching the show later. We're glad that you're in the audience. And those of you that are here live, we love your comments, and we want to hear from you. Oh, here's George the Smooks. Okay, I'm here in all my splendor and glory.
It's a good thing, too. Oh, and Missy's happy to see you, too,
Missy's happy
George.
to see you, too, George. Paul Hollis says, hi, Rob and Joan.
Hey,
hi,
Paul.
Glad you're here. Mark Albert says, hi.
Mark. Welcome
and James Elregard says, hello, kids. Hi, James. We're really glad that you're all here. And I do want to mention that we are broadcasting on 6 channels, 3 Facebook, 1 LinkedIn, and 2 YouTube. So if you're writing comments and I'm putting the comments up and you don't see the other people's comments, it's because you're watching from different channels. And those of you that are on LinkedIn, please go ahead and make comments. We notice that you're especially quiet and we'd love to hear from you. That's it.
That's it? Have a good day.
There are plumbers plumbing the house. Ooh, Joe Congel's in the house. Hi.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Rob and Joan, he says. And they're replumbing the house, and it is driving our dog crazy. So bear with us.
So your extraneous noises, don't worry, we're here. Yeah. Invite everybody to tune in after the show. Go over at 8 o'clock or thereabouts afterwards, as soon as the show is over. Go over to Blog Talk Radio. Tonight, Voice of Indie is featuring a guest, a former guest of ours, A.G. Fletcher, author A.G. Fletcher. And you just go to blogtalkradio.com, search Voice of Indie, and it should come. You should be able to find it fairly easily.
And any of you, go ahead and, talk to Steve and Beam, and I'm sure they'd be happy to have you on their show too. Besides,
they're great hosts and great people.
Yep. And George says editorials from the Canine Gallery. Yes, there you go. She's a noisy one.
Speaking of great people, tonight's guest.
Yeah,
we have author Hank Quense. Quense. I'll do it. Hank Quense.
Joe Congel.
Besides,
Joe Congel understands.
Yes, he does.
That we mess up last names, right, Joe?
Boy, that's for sure.
Joe said, "Be there or be squared." Absolutely.
There you go. Besides writing, he also lectures on writing fiction, publishing, and book marketing. And I think those are all things that everybody wants to hear about. So without much ado, why don't we bring in Hank? Hello, Hank.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so glad that you're here.
That's right.
Yeah, I know that some of our people have been really excited to hear what you have to say about many things. Let's bring up some of his, let me bring up his books here. Wait a minute, we got a comment. Yes, what?
Welcome, Hank. There we go.
Paul Hollis says, welcome, Hank.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
And Joe Congel says, the name thing has haunted me my whole life.
Me too.
Okay. Quense instead of, and okay, here's the funny thing. If a person's last name is Quintaro, right, which is Q-U, Rob always says Quintaro. And I always say to him, no. But for Quense, he said Kent's. And poor Joe Congel, I called him Joe Congo for the longest time.
Oh, me too.
And I don't do that anymore, though, Joe. I've
it's often pronounced Quincy also.
Oh, Quincy.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Yes, I answered to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up near Quincy.
Well, I think we'll just call you Hank tonight, okay?
That simplifies things.
We're going to play it safe. We're going to play it safe. How did you get started into the writing business?
Well, I've always been good at writing. It's something that came kind of natural to me. And I remember my original attempts at writing were in the junior year of high school during very boring classes. I used to have a little notebook like this, and I used to draw sketches and write short stories, with stick figures. And I'd rip them out, fold them up, and pass them around to all my buddies in the class. And they start laughing, and they get all in trouble because you do not laugh in class at a Jesuit school. You laugh in class, you're going to spend 3 hours after class.
No sense of humor.
So they were all getting in trouble, but I never got caught about that. But that was my initial attempt at writing. And then I went to engineering school. I didn't have time for that after, in engineering school. And afterwards also I didn't. So I decided when I was 50 years old, I needed a new job. But I was a sales manager for AT&T in Manhattan. And I figured it's only a matter of time till my bosses tell me, take a hike, kid. We want your office for a new kid. So I decided I was going to write fiction. I was undeterred by the fact that I knew absolutely nothing about writing fiction. That didn't bother me at all. So I started writing stories on my commute. I took a bus to Manhattan from New Jersey. I started writing scenes. And they were terrible. And I started to write stories. And I got, started to make some progress. And AT&T came out with this fantastic early retirement offer. And I said, I'm out of here. I'm going to be a writer. Still undeterred because I didn't know what I was doing. But I joined an online writing group. And that's where I learned to write. I would write these terrible stories. And other writers would critique them. They'd rip the hell out of them and tell me what I did wrong. And I do the same thing for them. And that's how I learned how to write short stories.
And that's kind of still going on, right?
And that's wonderful. Yeah. We did have a couple of more comments. Joe Conjal said, you're on board now with his name. Yes, I am. And George Dismuke says, try living with the name Dismukes all your life.
No, thanks.
And James Ricard says, what about, James.
Duquesne's.
Duquesne's?
Yeah.
Yes.
Duquesne. It's actually Duquesne. It's French.
Thank you.
Ah, okay.
I should have known that.
We go.
I took French in all girls Catholic high school, so my background is a little bit like yours.
Yeah.
That's where I started writing also, and getting my knuckles wrapped with a ruler for it too.
Yeah. So I was writing all these short stories. That's how I started writing, learn to write these short stories. And I sold about 40 of them. And I always prided myself that my short stories were short, 5,000 words or less. I rarely wrote one that was more than 5,000. I wrote this one short story, and it ended up being a novella, which was pretty startling to me. Oh, I really wasn't sure how that happened. I wrote another short story, and that one turned out to be an even longer novella. But then I realized that I was getting better at this, and my characters were becoming more complex. My plots were becoming more involved, and they required more words. So I said, all right, I'm a novella writer. So I wrote another novella, and that one turned out to be a novel. That's how I ended up writing novels.
That's really interesting.
There you go.
Joe Conjal says, I think everyone believes their first venture into writing is terrible, but we all get better.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
And he corrected
both statements are true.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. Well, I know that you have written quite a few fiction books, but I think you wanted to talk mostly today about nonfiction.
Well, that's what I've been writing for the last 3 or 4 years. I haven't really written a story in quite a while. And then because I was in several writing groups, I noticed that I know how to do stuff like write fiction, and the people in the writing group were really struggling with stuff. So I wrote a book on fiction writing. And I wrote another book on self-publishing because that was another issue that was coming up in the right group. And then I expanded into book marketing and keep going on.
Here's Book Marketing Fundamentals. Tell the world about your book. Business Basics for Authors, the revised edition. Creating Stories. Infographic, which I know you want to talk about. We'll get to that in a minute. Guide to Creating Stories. That's his newest book. How to self-publish and market a book. Self-publish a book in 10 steps. I'm glad you didn't say 10 easy steps.
No.
Fiction writing workshop for kids, because that would have been a lie, right?
Now, in the infographic, you sent me a couple of graphics to put up, but they turned out to be blurry.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, they didn't translate into this format. So we don't have anything to show.
You're a
but you can talk
wordsmith,
about
so
them.
you can paint the picture.
Oh, this started around October, I think, last year. I have 5 grandkids from in the 8th grade to a junior in college. And I realized these kids really don't know anything about finance. So I said, for Christmas, I'm going to buy them a book, whether they like it or not. So I was looking through Amazon, and I saw this infographic book on financing for teenagers. So I looked through it, and it looked like it's just what I wanted. So I ordered 5 of them, one for each grandkid. I got the books, and I was looking through one, paging through it, and I had the idea. I said, whoa, this would be a really cool way to take this book and revise it as an infographic. Because if it's an infographic, it will probably appeal to teenagers, like middle school and high school kids, much better than this one would, which is all text. So I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this book. But as soon as I started working on this project, I realized I had a really big problem. I don't know a bloody thing about infographics. So
that would be a problem.
So the first thing to do was start researching infographics. So I went to a couple different sites. I finally settled on Canva, Canva, which happens to be an incredible site. Highly recommend it. So I started making all these graphics and making up. They finished chapter 1. I download the pages to my computer, and I realized I can't publish it. It doesn't go in a word processor. I guess that's a reason why they call them word processors. They're not graphic processors.
Yeah, right. It's not word and graphic, right?
More research. How do I publish this thing? I finally found another book, a desktop publishing called Swift Publishing 5. That another learning curve. So I mastered that, and I finally got the book finished. Then got it all done. Sent it to my editor, who went absolutely out of her mind because she can't edit it.
Right.
It's graphics. It's not text.
Yeah.
No.
Whole new set of problems.
She's got to write all this stuff down. It's like on page 19, the second text box, fix this. And she keeps sending all of this stuff, and she really was furious with me for this thing. She finally gets me all of this stuff, and I realized I can't edit it either. So I got to go each page. I got to go to Canva, find the page that needs editing, revise it, download it, put it into the book to replace the page that has the error on it. Now this went on for error a long, long time. But eventually, I got it published. No, I got it finished. So I go to publish it, self-publish it. I can't get it on Smashwords or Drafted Digital because Swift Publisher will only export to PDFs. And these packages won't take PDFs. The only one that will is Kindle. But they whine about it. You give them a PDF. PDF. Don't you have a doc file? They really don't want to do PDFs. But eventually I got it done. And ran into some unusual situations. The price of getting a print book is 3 times for a graphic book what it costs for a text-based book. And for an ebook, Kindle charges me $2 download fee for doing this thing because the file is so big. It's 70 megabits. An average book is about 12 or 13. This thing is 70 megabits. Megabits and gigabits, something, 70 something. But it's, anyway, that was a long story, about 4 months of active hard work. And I finally got it finished.
That sounds like a big chore.
Yeah. Now something else. Until COVID happened, I've been going every year to a local school, 7th grade. I spend all day with the 7th grade in language arts classes, and I show the kids each class how to write a short story.
Yeah.
I go to all the steps, they build the characters, build the setting. I do all this, and I haven't gone the last 2 years because of COVID, but I kept in contact with the teacher. So I sent her a copy of the book. And I said, I'd love to know what your students think about this. So she passed the book around. In each class, she passed the book around and said, and with a blank sheet of paper, and said, write your comments down. It was interesting. This I got. She sent me this stuff like this, page after page of comments.
Wow. They were really interested, huh?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I was amazed at this thing. This is the funny thing.
That was what your thought was.
Yeah. The first and the third classes raved about the book. The second class, they were all critics. So page 19, the second text box doesn't line up with the others. So page 49, the page number is a little off from the other pages.
And they could be beta readers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It was hysterically funny, these kids are what they're writing down.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can you show us maybe? Do you think it'll show up on the an
a
example of the pages of the infographics?
Of the infographic? No, of the infographic.
No, your book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we just couldn't get those pictures in. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Oh.
Okay. Can you go up with it?
That's really.
So there's other pictures and stuff and places to write.
That's really great.
Is there places to take notes in there and stuff? No.
No.
It's graphs.
No, just graphics. Okay.
I see what you did there.
Information graphics.
Yeah.
Makes sense,
you
right?
You do an emotional art. You do plot.
There we go. Yeah.
That is.
I think it came out quite well. A hell of a lot of work.
Cool.
It did come out quite well.
It's like a textbook, really.
For those that are just listening, there are pages with subjects, with topics, and then little graphics along the sides to illustrate points or, comment about, make emphasis on points that you're trying to make, right?
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That is
so compared to the original book, this probably has only about a third of the text. They cut out a lot of wordsmithing.
So
I
then
got the main points down, but I left out all the ancillary comments about it. So it's very, very easy to read.
Believe it or not, it's time to break for our commercial, our first commercial. Right. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. We've got a comment real quick.
One comment before we go.
Yeah, one more comment before we go. Joe Conchel says, after everything you went through on this book, would you do another in the same format? Good question, Joe.
I have done another one in the same format.
Have you?
It's not complete. I got most of it done, but I got sidetracked. The title is how to mind map a novel, and it's in mind maps. They're graphics, so it worked out pretty well. But I haven't gotten around to finishing it. I'm probably about halfway finished the book. I do plan to publish it someday when I get back to working on it.
All right.
Yes, but I did do another one.
Awesome. All right.
All right. So let's take our first break. We'll have the book giveaway as soon as we get back. Okay.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Dear Lord, she's still alive.
Who's still alive?
Maris, that's who.
Come on, Angie, that's impossible.
Impossible or not, she's still alive, I tell you. She killed that boatload of people, and she's just getting started. There's no limit to what she will do.
It's not easy to kill a siren. It takes a formula and a plan. Siren Song 2 is the spellbinding sequel to Siren Song. Both novels by George Dismukes.
Siren Song 2 will be on bookshelves and bookseller websites in July. Don't miss it.
And we're back.
And we're back. So
all three of us.
Yeah, let's go back to the book giveaway right away here. Get that kicked off. Book giveaway, the first 3 people to email Hank, QUESE.com will win an ebook copy of infographics. Yeah, that we have that typed wrong. I'll put the right email up here. There we go. We'll win an ebook copy of Infographics Guide to Creating Stories. First 3 people. Okay, but that's the email right there. Don't look at the one in the banner.
QUENSE.com. And what we should do.
Wait. That's not correct.
No?
It's HankQuense.org.
Oh, it's .org. Oh. Okay. Well, then they're not going to get very far then,
right,
are
wait
they?
a minute, guys.
I won't be giving any books away.
There you go.
No.
Let's pull that down. Let's go into edit mode here. .org. Okay, we're going to save that. We're going to put that back up there.
HankQuense.org.
Well, good.
And this one, we're going to just take that out of there.
All right.
Save. Yeah, put it back up. Sorry about that, folks.
While we're doing that, oh, yes.
First mistake today.
Yeah. You might hope. Let's hope it's our last.
Yeah.
Let's go through all this and make sure that we have this right then. Your website is hankquense.org. That's HankQuense. All right. And Twitter is at Hank99, but this is spelled this way, people that are just listening. HANQUE99.
Now, Hank, on your email, it's the same as your website?
I got a couple emails.
Hank
no,
Quense.
That's not no. It's HankQuense at iCloud.com.
Aha. Okay. Well, we're wrong about this one too. So let's.
That's the one we just changed.
My name is always confusing people. That's what does it.
Okay.
It confused you too.
All right, Hank Quense at iCloud.com.
You're sure now?
You're sure?
Yeah. It was the last time I looked.
All right.
All right, we're going to
try that again. All right. For those of you who want his book,
I must say,
Infographics,
a lot of twists and turns here.
HankQuense at iCloud.com. That's HANK.
That's where you email to win the book.
SE at iCloud.com.
So if you send it somewhere else, forget about that and just send one there.
This just, Joe Conscious says, this just proves it's a live show, LOL. That is true. And you know, Joe, it's a live show with a pre-show. So we still had to go through all this. And this is Marjorie Deering. She says it all keeps things interesting. That's it. That's what we're going with, Marjorie. It's interesting.
If they don't pay attention, they're going to miss something.
Why we did it. we kind of did it on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
No.
Let me see if we've got anything else wrong here. All right. So we did Twitter, and now we're going to do Facebook. This is right. Strange Worlds Online.
Yeah.
All right. And that's spelled just like you would think.
Yeah.
And then we have Writers and Authors Resource Center. And it's WRITERSARC. Yeah, I know. .com. WritersArc.com. So
Yeah, let's get the email.
Those are all the places where you can reach him. And again, the email is hankquense@icloud.com.
I got 2 emails.
Oh, we
Wow.
we survived that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
All right, there's one left, folks.
Boom.
Better hurry up.
Number 3 is going to pop in any second.
That's
You
right.
don't type. Well, we threw you a few curveballs. So
Yeah, well, they're all retyping.
yeah. If they sent it to the first one and they got up and went to get a Coke and came back, they're going to find out that they didn't send it to the right place,
Yeah, they lost.
or that they shouldn't be
There
drinking Coke.
goes.
There we go.
Let me see if that was a book or somebody else. Nope.
Well, this is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my friends won the book.
Little change of pace there. Okay, so I wanted to ask you before we went on our break, and I didn't. Fiction writing for kids. Now,
Oh yeah, let me put up that.
in your times that you've gone to the schools, have you given that book out to kids for any feedback?
No, this book is a total bust.
Uh-oh.
Really?
It's something else that I tried experimentally. It's an advanced ebook. Besides graphics and text, it has audio tracks and video clips in it.
Oh my goodness.
And Apple will publish this. They come out with this as soon as they come out with ebooks. They come out with this. They will publish these ebooks because this is in accordance with the EPUB 3 standard. They do it. So Apple is the only one that really has a good copy of that, and I don't really sell any books. I sold 1 or 2. Kindle has a version of it that is really garbage.
Oh.
It's terrible compared to the Apple version of how to produce this book. But so no, the book doesn't sell very well. But I made a Udemy class out of it, and that is my best-selling Udemy class. I get 4 or 5 people sign up for this class every month.
Oh, that's great. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
And I don't do anything. I don't publish this, and people. It must be word of mouth that mothers are spreading it around or something, because it's aimed at kids that are in the 4th to the 7th grade. So, and it's pretty similar to what I do when I go to the school.
So, where do people sign up for that? Would they go here to the Writers Art?
They have to go to Udemy, which you don't have that class.
Oh, okay.
You don't have that email or that link.
Well, they can email you on.
Yeah, well, they go to Udemy and search for my name.
Or email you. Yeah, they can just email you and ask you.
Yeah.
Too, you're right.
Yeah, I should put up his email again.
Yeah.
Here we go. There you go.
Well,
that was interesting.
You are a very creative person, I tell you what.
Yes.
Actually, I get bored if I'm not learning something new.
Yeah, well, all that technology, man, that's really cool.
Yeah. And technology is difficult. It's always changing too.
Yes, yeah. But I love to try it out. I love grabbing new software app to see if I can break them.
Yeah.
I do sometimes too.
Yeah, see how long they'll last, right?
Yeah.
So you also talk about marketing. You were talking a little bit before the show about marketing. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah, we have a lot of authors.
A lot of authors that are
audience.
really interested in marketing. Yeah.
My old way of marketing or my new way of marketing?
Well, let's start with the old way and then tell us the new way.
You've changed your ways.
Yes, yes. I gotta say, I've been disappointed in my book sales for quite a while now. And mostly I've been using social media to sell my books. So I decided a couple of months ago that selling social media marketing really sucks, and it isn't worth the time and effort. All it does is rip off the authors. So I started researching and looking around for something new to do, to market. And I started, I have all these nonfiction books. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So I started taking the stuff out and packaging it, putting it into small packages, and putting it on websites where people could download it. I tried that for price, didn't work. And the website I was using is costing more money than I was making. So I dropped that out. Tried another one. It's a little bit better. But then I came across this article, I think it was in Medium, that talked about ecosystem marketing. And it was exactly what I was trying to do, but I didn't have a name for it. In ecosystem marketing, what you do is you produce all these little products and you give them away. You don't try and sell books. You give this stuff away. What you're trying to do is establish your authority as an expert and then sell packages like marketing, not marketing, but maybe fiction writing packages or self-publishing packages, to help people out to do this. And you make your money out of these packages, not selling books. So I've been working on this project for about 2 months, and I figure I got about another 2 months to go before I get finished with it and making trailers and all of this stuff. But that's my new gig. And you have that Writer's Arc up there is the website that has all of this stuff on it with links on how to get all the freebies.
So that's your new strategy. And then you haven't been doing it long enough for you to make a decision on whether that's going to be successful or not.
Yeah, right. I think it will be. It's just a matter of, implementing it and developing a following. But really, I'm starting off from scratch, a whole new concept.
Yeah.
So the people who follow me on Facebook aren't going to see too much anymore. And neither is the Twitter going to see too much. Not that they did anything anyway, so they're not going to miss me. And I won't miss them.
Okay, here's another comment. Joe Conchal says, do you approach your marketing differently with your nonfiction versus your fiction books?
I didn't, but now I do, because the website you showed before, the Writer's Arc, is for nonfiction. I'm in the process of building another website for my fiction. And in the fiction is going to have stuff like character interviews, short stories, or maybe I'll extract a subplot and give it away. And they'll be selling packages of books. I have three series of books. One has 4, one has 3, and one has 9 books in the series. I'm going to give it away, selling packages of those books at a deeply discounted price compared to Amazon.
Okay, so these will be your books that you've already written, your nonfiction. So it'll be like this.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Falstaff's Big Gamble.
This is another series. Moxie's
Problem. And Queen Moxie. Tales from Gunderland. The bubbles are hiding the titles. The King
short stories,
And then you have, we just put up this graphic of 8 of those. Let's see.
So those will all be on another website with a lot of background material and a lot of stuff on it. One of the things I do when I advertise my books is I interview my characters, tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. Because I write humor and satire, so my characters tend to get upset by questions that the interviewer asks them, and they get all bent into shape and they start yelling. And I have a lot of fun with that, but they're quite funny, the interviews. They're scattered around the internet. So I'm going to bring them all together and put them all into one website so people can see this stuff, and see if they really want to buy the follow up on these books.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You have to let us know.
Which is your favorite fiction book that you've written?
Falstaff's Big Gamble.
Okay. And that was an award winner too, I see. Yeah.
The tagline is, "This is Shakespeare's worst nightmare." The book is it has Hamlet and Othello in it, and Falstaff, of course. Yes. Hamlet is a dwarf. Othello is a dark elf. And Falstaff is an obese human who is a con artist, and he sees Hamlet and Othello as easy marks, and he's going out to con them out of money and all kinds of stuff. It's a very good book, I think.
It sounds like a very...
It has more reviews than any other book.
Money
34.
book. Well, that's good. So basically, it's a satire.
Yes.
And how about Moxie's problem?
This takes place in Camelot, but my Camelot is in an alternate universe, and it's nothing like the Camelot in Britain. The only thing that's really the same is the characters' names. You know, King Arthur and Sir Lancelot. That's about it. Everything else is different.
And who's Moxie?
I'm sorry?
Who's Moxie in this Camelot?
Well, Moxie is a princess, a teenage princess, who was, in the beginning of the book, has never been out of her father's castle. And she is a teenage pain in the ass. The character, the readers actually don't like her. She's the main character, and they don't like her.
Really?
Over the course of the book, I got her to change, and the reader's impression of her changes also. So it's a pretty good fun book.
That's great. Yeah, we don't like your main character.
Yeah, Moxie gets involved with all a couple of Knights of the Round Table.
So then Queen Moxie is when she's no longer a teenager and she's no longer a princess, but now the queen?
The end of the second book, Moxie's decision, she replaces, she takes over as a queen after her father dies. But she's got to fight her uncle to kick him off the throne first.
Ah, so just like real royalty.
Yes, yeah.
They have quite a history of that, don't they?
Yeah.
What are the Zaftan troubles about? You've got 8. Do you have more than 8 of those?
7.
There's 9.
There's 7
total
more than
9.
Okay, 9.
9 total. Yeah.
There's well, the Zaftans are an alien race. They're from the planet Zaftan 31b, also in an alternate universe. And the Zaftans are pretty nasty. They're like oversized squids, you know, about 6-7 foot, 300 pounds, 8 tentacles, and they're very strange. They think treachery and murder or assassination are social skills. If they pull off an assassination, they put it on their resume. And they're really nasty, and they really smell. Any humans that come close to them get sick to their stomach and start to throw up. So, but they're quite interesting and quite fun to write about.
Yeah, that's definitely different. Let me. This is interesting here. The king who disappeared. Is that Moxie's dad? No.
No, this is another one from Gunderlin. It's 4 books from Gunderlin.
From Gunderlin,
which is happens to be in an alternate universe, another world.
Oh, I think I see a theme.
Yes, 3 themes.
Alternate universe.
Alternate universe theme.
Actually, this is quite interesting because you put stuff in our universe, you got to explain a lot of stuff. If you put it in an alternate universe, you don't have to explain it. People accept it.
That's true.
They don't answer. They don't question it.
Yeah.
So it's writing fiction. Keep that in mind. Alternate universe saves trouble.
Yeah.
But the Zaftans are the story is they discover a world has valuable resources on it. A mining ship discovers it, and they try and steal all of the minerals from it. And the world, which has dwarfs and elves and all that stuff, the characters rebel and they drive the Zaftans away from the world.
Awesome.
And then it continues 300 years later. The dwarfs and the elves and all of those people, they have now went to space and they're fighting the Zaftans for control of space.
Interesting. We need to take a quick break here.
Another word from our sponsor.
Another word from our sponsor.
We'll be right back.
We'll
People,
see you in
don't
2
go
minutes.
away.
Many secrets are hidden within the darkness of the jungle. Behold, this one about a man, a woman, a black jaguar, and an ancient Maya legend. Two Faces of the Jaguar is a novel by George Dismukes that will take you deep into the jungle and capture your imagination until the last word. Two Faces of the Jaguar is book one of a trilogy. Two Faces of the Jaguar, where only the adventurous dare to read.
Two Faces of the Jaguar, The Lost City, and The Jaguar's Quest are available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites. Two Faces of the Jaguar, the book people are talking about. Get your copy today.
This award-winning thriller has it all. Murder, political intrigue, mob revenge, and a bit of romance. Not to mention strong female and male characters with a storyline that could be tomorrow's headline news. Now for a quick peek into our story. To help solving a nationwide plot involving the assassination of several U.S. senators, the O'Rourke team is called in. To complicate matters, they now have to work against the clock to rescue one of their own. You see, the mob didn't take too kindly to the O'Rourke team's involvement last spring. It seems to have led to the indictment of their boss. Will they succeed?
And we're back.
We're back.
Yes, we are.
So, are you going to be writing any more nonfiction, or do you think from now on fiction, or are you just going to be writing nonfiction?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I really am. I don't have any plans to right now. I have story ideas. You can't help that. You end up with story ideas. I just don't have any ambition to spend the year writing a novel. That's what it takes me. I just don't have the energy to do it, the ambition to do it. Maybe some short stories.
Yeah, the main thrust isn't there anymore.
No, since I started on the nonfiction, I kind of like that better than that right now.
Yeah.
And you're having more fun doing that.
No, fiction is more fun.
Oh.
Nonfiction is kind of like work. Fiction is fun.
Yeah, it keeps your mind occupied anyway, right?
Yes, yeah, it does. Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, and trying to figure things out.
Well, since COVID has lightened up a little bit, have you got any plans on going back out to do any more lecturing?
I don't know. The libraries around here they seem to like not having lectures. Open. They really are. They don't seem to be as open as they used to be.
Okay.
Since COVID, you mean? Or just in general?
I think it's just the result. They got used to not giving it, so they, holding these things. So you kind of moved off the other stuff. They do a lot of Zoom meetings now. I think they'd rather do Zoom than in person.
Oh yeah. So it is because of COVID then.
The result, the result of the impact of COVID.
Absolutely, yeah. Our libraries here in Florida have really opened up.
Yeah.
And they're doing they're doing lectures, and they're doing, they do arts and crafts and all kinds of things. And it's becoming more like a town meeting center here in our county, in Hillsborough County.
Yeah, well, up here they're starting to get more COVID is breaking out again, new variation. So they're being very antsy about what they do, with getting meetings holding actual physical meetings.
In New Jersey and New York,
Yeah.
both. Yeah. Yeah, we noticed that.
Yeah.
Nope. Here it's not like that at all. You may or may not have heard. Florida is wide open, has been for a long time. So I don't know. It's a funny time, isn't it? It's different than any other time that I can remember. It's very odd.
Yeah, it is, yes.
It's changed the way a lot of things go, don't you think?
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
We're working on a nonfiction book right now, but it's about our family life. So it's not like your nonfiction, which is teaching.
It's not instructional.
It is not instructional.
No, it's
not
actually
at all.
How not to do things, I think.
It's actually, it's pretty much like, you're not going to believe that this is
You wouldn't believe this happened to us.
But all of these things have you guys really, you'll have to read the book, because what's happened to our family over and over again is like insane. Joe Conjal said, oh, wait a minute, Susan Kite. Oh, Susan.
Hey, Susan.
Susan Kite said Florida is where I got COVID. Well, I am sure, because as it said, we've been wide open since it was still going on, rampaging. We haven't been out there, and we've never had COVID.
It wasn't our fault. Don't blame us.
Yeah. We didn't go out there. Joe Conjal said, what drives you to a particular nonfiction topic to write about?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yes, that is a good question. It's pretty much, I get an idea. I feel like I want to explore this, so I go do it. I got two that I'm working on right now. One is called rather successful book marketing, and that will include, it will touch on social media, but it will also have a large chapter on ecosystem marketing, and have a couple other things that explore that I haven't talked about in the past. I'm also building something. There might be a book on ecosystem marketing, an entire book, or perhaps a lecture, a Udemy lecture. I've been fooling around with that. I got most of that framed out. I usually work on 3 or more projects at a time. One is usually wrapping up. One I'm in the middle, and the other is I'm brainstorming with it. Coming up with ideas.
Yeah. I guess
the answer to the question is generally what I feel like writing.
I've never heard of ecosystem marketing before.
There's quite a few YouTube videos on it and books. I never heard of it either until about 2 months ago.
Marjorie Deering says, instead of the old trope that writers write, I think it's refreshing to hear a writer admit that they're not in the mood to tackle a new project.
Some new projects.
That is a little.
It's different than what we normally hear,
isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I think I evolved. I evolved from writing fiction to nonfiction. I'm not sure I'm going back.
Oh, come back! It's fun.
Especially in you should get into the multiverse.
Oh God!
Yeah, maybe someday. No, right. Well, that's Facebook. No way.
But you can get like all 3 of your alternate universes, and that would be like 3 multiverses, wouldn't it?
It would.
Oh, it's gotta be in one website. All 3 gotta be one website.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Damn it! I just found it.
You go.
It's a multiverse.
It's a multiverse series. Yes.
Yeah, I got to change the title now of the URL, the domain name. Alternate universe. Now it's multiverse.
Didn't mean to throw you down another path there.
Yeah, another $17 shot for the new domain name.
Here, Joe Conjal has another question. Are all your nonfiction self-help type of books, or would you ever consider writing something like a memoir or other types of nonfiction?
Yes. All my nonfiction books are self-help. And no, I have no intention of writing a memoir or any other type of nonfiction. I have no interest in it.
And Robert White said, "Hi, Robert.
Good morning, Robert."
Good morning. Robert's joining
Good
us.
idea. Yeah, maybe I'll stay with the old one. Save money.
Better check with Marvel on that URL name, the
right?
multiverse.
Alt universe is good.
I've heard that Marvel might have a corner on that. You're right, Robert.
It's marvelous.
For sure. Joe Conchel says, fair enough. There you go, Joe. Yeah. Well, we're writing a memoir, Joe, so you can read that one. And wait till you hear what kind of a crazy life that we've had with our kids. It's been insane.
It's crazy.
We can talk about the time that I yelled at the heavy metal band. That was fun.
There you go.
Scared our kids and my husband half to death. I was tired, though. I didn't want to hear any more of their noise.
Yeah. No spoilers here.
Okay.
So, Hank, you've written a lot of books on, creating and, things to help people. What kind of advice do you have for like a new author that's just getting out there? That's
Fiction?
Trying to get started.
Fiction writer?
Either.
Writing fiction or self-publishing or what?
Either.
Both.
If they're starting out fiction writing, I'd say the one thing you got to know about your story is you got to know the ending before you start to write it. I mean, I'm a plotter. I'm not a pantser. I can't understand. I can't conceive of writing a story the pantser style. People say they do it, so I believe them. But my advice, if you're going to write a story, know the ending.
That's your advice.
Actually, that's the second step in my process. I get the character, give them a big problem, and then I find the ending. And if I don't find the ending, I don't do anything else with the story until I find an ending.
Interesting.
With self-publishing, what you got to know is that much of the stuff on the internet is wrong. It's either incorrect, or it's misinformation, or it's just flat out wrong.
As far as tips, you mean, to get published or to publish your book?
I'm sorry?
As far as tips on how to publish your book, you mean?
Yeah. If you're starting out self-publishing, you're going to do research. And that's where the problems come in, because a lot of the research is going to give you wrong information. So then, and when you go on start looking up research, you run across scammers who are willing to help you solve all your problems for a little bit of money. But they take your money, but they don't do anything.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's pretty vicious, the self-publishing world. You can get into a lot of trouble.
I know it is. That's true. Joe Conchel says, sounds good. That was about what I was saying. Then get back on the other podcast when it comes out, and I'll pepper you with questions there.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. We'd appreciate it. Robert White said all of the above, meaning what he was asking. Right. And Susan Kite spoke to you what you had just said, and she said that's great advice even for a pantser. Are you?
If you know the ending, you're not a pantser.
Well, we're pantsers. Actually, quite a few of the people in the audience right now are pantsers, but we do know a lot of plotters too. So, you have to do what works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a little crazy about plotting. I actually mind map the story before I start to write it.
Yeah,
mind map. Some of them are really big. This is a complicated novel.
And Susan Kite says that she's a pantser too.
Right.
Yeah, we kind of let the characters go where they want to go, which made me laugh when you said about interviewing your characters, because our characters are very opinionated.
They sure are.
They are.
And they will or won't say certain things or won't do certain things. So anyway.
Well, any other topics you would like to cover this evening?
How much time do we have?
Just a few minutes.
Few minutes.
How much time do you need?
4 minutes.
Well, about writing fiction. You're going to write fiction. You can't just throw a couple of jokes into a story that you finished. You're going to write humor or satire. You have to build it into the design. the humor and the satire has to be baked into it right from the start. And the way you write this is you got to give the character a serious flaw, a mental flaw. And his mental flaw has got to make him different than everybody else around him. And the purpose of the plot is to get this character into situations where this flaw comes out. Now, if you think about my ideal comic character, is Peter Sellers in Inspector Clouseau, the Pink Panther. Clouseau's flaw is he thinks he's the world's greatest detective. And as such, he can't conceive that he makes a mistake. And that's where the humor comes in, because he's always making mistakes.
There you go.
Like one noticeable example, he's a murder committed in this big mansion, and he's got all of the staff in the living room, and he's tells them to stay there, and he's inspecting the house, and he goes up to the second floor, and he falls down a flight of stairs into the living room where the staff is. And he jumps up and says, "Well, that was refreshing."
He was
And
great.
in another case, the same similar thing. He's got a mansion, a murderer is there, and he's giving people a lecture on how he's going to find the criminal and bring him to justice. And he spins on his heel to make a dramatic exit, and he walks into a wall. And he bounces off the wall. He looks at the camera and says, "Stupid architect." That's how his, that's the plot is getting him into these things. And that's his flaw, and that's where the humor comes from.
Absolutely.
There you go.
James Ricketts says, if I plot too much, I get bored with the story.
Ooh,
And George Dismuke says, I know somebody with a serious mental flaw.
Let me guess.
Some people say I have one.
I don't think he's talking about you. I think he
No.
might be talking about someone named Deborah.
Deborah, wife number 5.
Wife number 3.
3. Number 3.
Number 5
Sorry.
is the keeper.
Number 3 is okay. Or number 5 is okay. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
gosh.
Oh, George. You didn't hear that. Okay.
Number 5 is the keeper.
5 is the keeper.
gone.
3 is
Yes.
gone.
That's right.
That's a good thing, right?
Yes, indeed.
Well,
Yes.
I think we're probably toward the end here.
Yep.
If nobody else has any other questions. So I want to thank you, Hank, for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. This was fun.
And it's been awesome.
When George says, if at first you don't succeed, but
There you go.
you've succeeded now and you have a keeper.
Yeah.
She's a good lady.
There you go.
All right.
All right, so we're
gonna
going
put you over to
to
the side.
move you over. There we go. Got you right
Okay.
over there.
All right. Joe Conjal says, fun as always, guys. Thank you for another great show. Don't go anywhere, Joe. I wanted to tell you, I know that there are a number of people in the audience tonight who love paranormal stuff and like learning about it. And next week, we're going to have John Russell, who's been a professional psychic for 50 years. He's also a paranormal investigator. He's done a pilot for his own show on the History Channel. So be sure and tune in next week and be prepared with your questions, because I'm sure that, he has a lot of interesting things to talk about.
And his book is called Riding with Ghosts, Angels, and the Spirits of the Dead. Whoa. Riding motorcycles, I'm pretty sure he's talking about, not horses.
Yeah.
Riding, because he's a
So
big motorcycle,
You
right?
folks from Texas were talking about motorcycles, not horses.
And he's also written a second book, A Knock in the Attic.
A knock in the attic.
Yeah.
That would be scary.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have an attic.
He's just started writing, though. He's been a psychic for many years and done a lot of other shows, but
Right.
now he's taken a little foray into the writing gig.
So coming up this Saturday, episode Rewind, 5:30 p.m. right here where you're watching right now, wherever you are. May 14th, we're going to be rewinding Maureen Morrissey and Mark Youngquist. That was a good show. And then next Wednesday, of course, John Russell. We've already talked about that.
Mhm. And Joe says, wow, sounds fantastic. I will come loaded with questions. Joe, you were one of the people I was thinking of, and Paul Hollis, too, I know would like to learn more about the paranormal. But you have your paranormal investigators right here, always ready to serve.
There you go. There you go. All righty then. Do you have anything else you would like to talk about?
No, I think we're done for the night.
I think we're done. So we're going
Thank
to
you, everybody, for coming.
Leave you now, and we've got a little commercial, and then we're going to go to our sign off. So until next time.
That's all, folks.
Stay where you're at. Stay where you're at.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for joining us here on Meet the Author. Make sure you stay up to date with our show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DB.com.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.